Scholar Athletes by Reed Phillips. Some background information about me. My name is Reed Phillips, like I said before. My major is I'm a graduate in occupational therapy. My location that I did for Scholar Athletes is Commerce High School, and this is my first time experience doing it. So for the Myers-Briggs results, my top three matches were ESFJ, which is the provider. It's also known as the host or hostesses of the world. Some more words that describe it are loyal, practical, and organized. My second best match for the Myers-Briggs results was the ESTJ, also known as the supervisor. That's where you're going to see a more life administrator role, and it's objective, realistic, and outspoken and directive. And you're also known as a leader. For the ESTP, the dynamo, also known as a promoter, it's the ultimate realist, and I feel like this one definitely fits me really well. For activity one, for Scholar Athletes, me, Angel Mendez, and Olivia, we decided to do Jeopardy, and the purpose of it was improving time management skills and decision making. The results were competitive and education based. It was pretty cool when we did this activity because we had the Commerce basketball team split up into two groups, and it really made it competitive because they're all competitive individuals to begin with. They're all athletes, and when we did it, we learned a lot about the students. We were able to understand what they did know about college, what they didn't, how to apply for different things, and all these different information about health and whatnot, and it was a really cool experience. The next activity that we did at Commerce High School was Balmy. We did this in the gym of Commerce, and the whole purpose was for communication and active listening. The results showed that we were able to learn more about each other and grow skills. It wasn't really an icebreaker activity. It was more of a get to know each other, understand what the kids wanted from the Scholar Athletes program, what they didn't want, things that they wanted to improve on, things that they didn't know about Scholar Athletes, and stuff like that. For activity three, we did interview prep, which is really, really good. It's a great activity for improving active listening and interview skills. This is great for when they're going in for their first job, when they're applying to college and might have to do an interview at the college or even in the future. The results shows that they can adapt and apply these new skills. It was really cool because this is a picture of me working with Manny, the star basketball player. He really needed to improve his interviewing skills, and I helped work with him on it. This is my picture of my resume. I know it's a little blurry, but this is a screenshot of my resume. And the job that I'm most proud of is the volunteer work. It's the team impact advocate. This is a picture of me and the baseball guys a couple years ago when we signed a kid on our team who had cystic fibrosis. His name was Brian. He was an 8-year-old. And I'm most proud of this because I was an advocate for him. There was a group of me and like 4 other kids who would go and hang out with this kid. Each week we'd end up doing activities because he does have cystic fibrosis, and the whole point of signing him was to give him an older brotherly figure in his life. And for us, that was the team that was helping him with that. And with cystic fibrosis, it's a buildup of mucus in your lungs. So staying active is really important. So when we would hang out with him, we'd do like activities like playing soccer in his backyard, or playing wiffle ball and stuff like that to get him really active and kind of not just sitting still and having the mucus continue to build up. For the evaluation section questions, 3 of them that stuck out to me for the questions was, what did I learn about myself in the organization through this experience? I learned that I'm a good leader, and that my leadership skills continue to grow and I become better with them. What type of skills did you acquire? I didn't really acquire skills. I kind of just fine-tuned the leadership skills that I just talked about. I thought that it was really helpful for improving them. And what was the most difficult or satisfying part of your services? The most satisfying, not really difficult, was working with Manny, who was the star basketball player who was failing in most of his classes, and I had the opportunity to get him eligible for the season because he actually had to repeat his freshman year. He was originally started at Central, and he transferred to Commerce because of his grades. And to be able to get him eligible, he was so happy and excited to be part of the basketball team finally, especially as the star on the team. So that was the most satisfying part of the services. So for the AIC 1150 experience, The best aspect, like I just talked about, was it was super rewarding, especially working with Manny and all the basketball kids. But some of the challenges that I thought I faced with the Scholar Athletes program was the number of Scholar Athlete representatives. Yes, there was me, Angel, and Olivia at the school every Wednesday, but it's still tough when you have a whole basketball team in the classroom to be able to get around and help every single kid at all times, especially when you have to focus on certain kids like Manny, who is the star of the team, but you need to help them get their grades up, so you can't really get to every single kid in the class. As well as it was kind of difficult for knowing the knowledge of the material that they were learning. Like, yes, we've learned it in the past, but this is material that I've learned years and years ago. So, like, knowing the science or, like, knowing the math that they have to do is stuff that, like, I don't really remember. So, like, we would have to, like, kind of try and figure out the problems with them, which was kind of the difficulty. For the in-class presentation, I thought Tiffany's story, leadership in the community, it really impacted me the most out of all the presentations that we saw. I thought so because, like I said earlier, leadership is the biggest skill that I want to continue to grow because I feel like I'm a very good leader. And for leadership, Tiffany talked a lot about like how like she has grown as an individual using leadership, and I just thought that that applied the best to me. For the college experience and advice, some advice is learning a routine is the ability to get to class, study, and then finding some outlets away from class and like all this whole schoolwork, such as like gym, sports, etc., like reading a book. It's also always good to stay organized as an incoming student into college. When you don't stay organized, it's tough to be able to stay on top of your work and all that, and your grades will probably end up dropping. And the ability to adapt to situations. By this I mean that not all classes are going to go as planned. Doesn't mean you're always going to get an A on the test, always do well in that class, but it's your ability to adapt and find ways to work around your struggles that it's going to be the best for you when you're during your college experience. And then for my closing quote for this presentation, my favorite one is by Coach Carter. It's our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Thank you once again for listening to my presentation.